When you think about a friend or a colleague, son or daughter who goes away for 4 or 5 years, you hear about what they're doing with their life and you think they've done something, they're different, they're not the same person I remember. But then they come back, say they moved away, they're coming back, they're now home. That's the way I think about the new 5 Series. E39 was fantastic, it looked great, drove well, then it changed. But now the F10 is here for 2011. This is the 535i, I'm driving it today on FLDetours. So welcome to the 2011 5 Series. As I said, it's good to have it back. And it's got an inline 6 with a single turbo. Seats are comfortable. Actually cut, I don't know. As an automotive journalist or as a critic of any kind, whether it be food or movies, it is always so much easier to talk about the things you dislike as opposed to things you do like. Because when you talk about the things you do like, you have to be articulate. You have to understand what you're talking about. This car, it's fantastic on every level. Exterior styling of a car only makes up about a quarter of the equation of what makes a good car. As a buyer, you care more about what's under the hood or what's in the interior and whether it makes your life easier or harder. Now, from the front of the car, let's start with the motor. That's the N55 motor. It is a inline 6 with a single turbo, unlike the twin turbo out of the previous years. It puts out about 300 horsepower, and while the torque, which is what makes you feel like you're going fast, that comes in around 1700 RPM all the way up to about 5500, and it's continual. So it feels like you're accelerating. So the 300 horsepower on paper may not look like a lot, but while you're driving this car, it feels fast, it feels good. So I'm not gonna say that this car lacks in the technology department. Actually, that's far from the truth. What I'm trying to get at is that it's hidden. That technology is hidden and only appears when you need it. Not only does iDrive supply you with navigation and your radio settings and lighting settings, speed control settings, speed warning settings, you also have a lane departure warning, which is accessible on the left-hand side. And it is not activated when you first get in the car. You actually have to activate it, which to me is brilliant because I want to drive a car. I want a car that will only give me the bare minimum, and if I want that technology, I have to turn it on. So in the lane departure is a quick button over here, and what it does, there's a little camera sensor up here in the mirror, and it will identify the road in front of you where there's a wall or a line or whatever it may be, and if you stray over the line, you'll get a slight vibration in the steering wheel. Now this is one of my few complaints of the car. That vibration, especially on bad roads, I can't tell whether it's vibrating or if it's just telling me that New Jersey sucks and they need to repave the roads. Now moving back from the navigation and the steering wheel, let's get to the transmission. This is an 8-speed automatic transmission and it shifts very fast. And not only, and being an 8-speed actually is great for fuel economy. I've been able to achieve about 24, 25 miles per gallon while driving in New York City and then on side roads and traffic and on the turnpike, which is quite good. Next to the transmission, you will find a little toggle that says Comfort and Sport. This thing is what really makes this car phenomenal. You have the ability to change the settings of the car, the chassis, the suspension, even the throttle mapping, and even the transmission to perform in different modes. So of course there's comfort mode, which is kind of what I want to call it as the lazy mode. So throttle response is lackluster, but the ride is phenomenal. It's very smooth, very comfortable. And then you can move up to normal, which firms up the suspension, improves the throttle response. And then you can go up to sport, which really makes the suspension firmer, chassis a little stiffer, and the transmission will downshift a lot faster, and the throttle is much more precise. And then of course you've got Sport Plus. Sport Plus is kind of like its own little profile. The gears will hold a little longer. You can set it up to deactivate the traction control or one level of traction control, not fully, but a little bit to let you on the track hang the ass end out a little bit, if you can drive. Not to forget about, this is based off a 7 Series platform. You forget about the weight. This car can accelerate from 0 to 60 in about 5.5 seconds, a little bit more than that. but especially in the sport mode with the suspension. And I remind you that this little button makes this car so great. It can make this car turn from being a luxury cruiser around town to something phenomenal on windy switchback roads. I was excited about the 5 even before I got behind the wheel. I didn't want to spoil the moment at the auto show just to sit behind it. It's the first time I've actually been in this car. It's been a fantastic experience. The package, it's there. It's the perfect mid-size sedan. Although, no, there's not much I would really change about it. And that makes my job even so much harder. I'm JF Musial, this is FLDetours, and that was the new 535i.